Hi, welcome back. We are the Midwest Mamas. This is episode 4. This week we are discussing Christmas gifts for our children, or to help you buy for your grandchildren who possibly have special needs with sensory issues, or that really just don't really play with toys. So these are things that we have found in our lives that our children like. So I'm going to go around and introduce the ladies again. We have Lindsay Althouse from the Althouse Life blog.
Hi.
We have Trista Hefner. She's a co-author of Hurricane Hefners.
Hey.
We have Brianna Olson, author of To Infinity and Beyond Words.
Hi.
And myself, Annie Smith, author of Raising Different Disabilities. So, yeah, this week we're talking Christmas gifts or even birthday. If you are in the situation where you are like, what do I buy for my special needs grandchild? Or what is a good sensory toy to buy for my child? We have a guide for you.
We have a guide for everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we've guides galore. One of the main things that we had talked about was the different sensory things. My son Whitman is 7 and he loves the tube that you pull up and down. Ours unfortunately broke, so I can't really show you. We have a new one coming from Amazon, but you pull it up and down and it makes like these crazy sounds, and he just giggles and loves it, and it's a great time. I use it for stress relief too. I like pull it up and then pinch them down. So every now and then you might hear it in the background. Yeah.
When we run into those kind of problems of what do we buy for Jameson, or Lucas is more, even though he does have special needs, his is not autism or intellectual disability related. So his is more, he's able to play with toys his own age. And so his is completely opposite. But when we run into that problem for Jameson, you know, I always suggest like Chewies and stuff for him, and things that really he cares about that can benefit him, because we all have a deficit, I feel like, on Christmas Day with our children that possibly, you know, that have autism, because when we were younger, we knew the excitement of Christmas, and we knew the feeling of that magicalness of waking up and Santa has given us, you know, something we asked for Christmas, but our children don't know that. So buying unnecessary toys that are just going to either be donated or returned, this is something that's going to help you to be able to avoid that. So when we get into those situations, we suggest Chewy toys and things that can really help him in what he needs, especially right now with virtual therapies, stuff like that to bring into the home so that we can do our therapies at home is amazing. So that's a really big help right there.
Yeah, and I was going to say something very similar, like, because especially with in-home therapies, and when things are canceled and you kind of have to do like a makeshift thing at home, whether or not, you know, the therapist can come into your home or not, kind of depending on your area. We work with like a lot of like stacking and things to work on fine and gross motor. So like we have like these Infantino blocks, so like they have like little ridges on them, and they just come apart. Your kid can stack them on any side. You can color match with them, you know, all those good things. So we work on stuff like that. It comes with, I'm not sure how many are in a set, but it's a pretty decent size so that they can create different things if that's what your kid is into. For Beckett, again, he's 5, so he really just likes to stack them up all the way into a tower as high as he can get them, and then he'll start back over. So we really try to keep it where it's very sensory driven and based completely on his interests. We've learned the hard way with a lot of decluttering and donating and things like that we don't, you know, it's definitely not quantity around here. You know, like we try to avoid collecting all these things that he's really not gonna mess with at all.
Well, I hate to interrupt you, but
No.
I think it's a secret. I mean, between autist, like special needs parents and stuff like that, it's a big secret like that we have. Like, if you've purchased things for our kids and you don't see, like, they're donated. Like,
Right.
I mean, that's just reality, because if they aren't going to work, they may work for somebody else's kids. But, you know, it's not that we don't appreciate it. It's just
right.
That's just the way that it is. So.
And we try to, you know, on that same token, we get asked a lot from grandparents and siblings. Like Cameron and I both have siblings, and they ask us all the time, what do you want for Beckett for Christmas or for his birthday or what have you? And it's always the same kind of thing for us. We're like, he's not big on toys. You know, we want you to buy something that he will care about and play with. And, you know, so on the same token that it's useful for Beckett, it's also, you know, it doesn't hurt the person's feelings if something's sitting in a toy box for like a whole year and a half and they haven't touched it once. Or, you know, like the person giving the gift wants them to get use out of it. You know, that's why they buy it. They want them to enjoy it. So we very much kind of center it around, for instance, Beckett has a Harkla pod swing. And so we have it and it goes up into the ceiling, and it comes with like hardware to be screwed into the ceiling. So my husband installed it. It was really quick and easy. And Beckett, I think it holds quite a bit of weight. Your kid, it will grow with your child. So Beckett really enjoys sensory things like the swing, to go down there anytime, and he'll like just it has like an open hole and it kind of goes up into a cone type of shape, and he'll just run in it and sit, and then he'll spin it and unwind it again. You can swing back and forth. It's in the middle of the room, so it can go any direction with him. And it really helps him unwind, especially when it's freezing cold. Like today, it was like 15 degrees outside. And so I'm sure when he gets home from school, he's going to be spending all his time in his playroom in the swing. So
David is a huge sensory seeker as well, and the swing is one of his favorites. The swing, no matter where we're at, whether it's a swing at home or at the park, it's literally the only thing it does. It gives him that sensory input that he gives.
Yeah.
It's the same way. We have ours in our dining room. So it's a 50-50 shot. If you come over for dinner, he'll hit you with this swing. That's the only place we could put it. Our house isn't very big. So, but yeah, like we love our swing. It's our lifesaver. So every now and then Viv will fall asleep in it. Like she'll be reading a book or something while it's at school, and she's all nestled in it as it's like swinging her back and forth. I wish there was one for my size.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
We actually, since we haven't been in therapy, we're completely virtual right now. Our occupational therapist has put us on a every 2-hour regimen of the pod swing, and he doesn't like the inside pillow that comes with it, so he takes that out and he just uses it as like a kind of like a pressed in feeling, and he goes back and forth, and it's the only thing that calms him down. So it's highly recommended.
For sure. I mean, really anything Harkla. We also have a speaking of like the squeezing that you were talking about. Yeah. So like Beckett uses a compression sheet at night. So it goes around his entire mattress. It kind of looks like a big, it just cinches on one side, so you could take it off either side of the mattress. It just goes around it really tight. And it's literally what it says. So it gives that compression. He can stretch it out so that it's like breathable through it, so that he can sleep underneath it and things like that. You can put your whole body underneath it. But but he doesn't like to use blankets or pillows or anything like that. But he loves the compression sheet because he can slide his whole body in there, and it will give like that really like gentle yet effective like pressure and like squeeze, the hug that he really likes, that he craves all day long. So he sleeps underneath it with his whole body just shoved right inside the compression sheet. And we've gotten tons of use out of that. We had a really big problem with the length of time that he would sleep before we got the compression sheet, just because I think his body was really overstimulated and kind of craving that pressure. So that's proven really, really helpful for us. So we, a lot of times with gifts, we recommend, because you have to take it off and wash them and all that stuff. So we have backups that we then put on when one's in the wash, or if something happens to it, stuff like that. So, and they're fairly inexpensive, and they go for, I believe there's toddler ones for some companies, but with Harkla, I know for sure with Beckett's, they have like twin all the way up to, larger bed sizes. So depending on the mattress size, you can grow with that as well. So.
We ordered one for Wit for Christmas, so I'm excited to try it. I'm hoping that
it's been a lifesaver over here.
Yeah, I'm hoping, because he was not a fan of the sock, like the sensory Harkla.
Yeah.
We got him that last year, and he hated it.
Just not his thing.
No, not his
Jameson
thing.
doesn't like it either. It scares him. Like when I put it on.
Yeah, that's how it is.
He'll do this, like he's suffocating, and I'm like, it's not even by your face, bud. Calm down.
Everybody's got their thing.
Yeah.
David is a huge sensory seeker and really enjoys these stretchy bands, and each of them has a different texture on them.
Oh, cool.
Or during those virtual sessions where he can fidget with them in his hands, and it still helps him retain some of that focus, because sitting still is really hard, and especially trying to maintain a virtual session of therapy, it helps him to have something in his hands, the different textures, he can stretch them. It kind of reminds me of the gimmick stress balls that you'd get from different companies. Very similar, where it helps just while he's sitting and playing or watching TV, or during one of the sessions, it kind of keeps him busy, and he loves them. They're great.
Does he ever? Is he is he orally stimulated like Beckett is? Like, does he like to chew on them ever?
He does like to chew. Yeah, he didn't used to be an oral stim, but more recently he started kind of putting everything in his mouth, and he really, I think a lot of times, I don't think he's necessarily hungry, but he eats all the time, and I think it's for that oral fixation.
Yeah.
So we're definitely looking at some of the chewies as well, like talking about, to see if he'd be interested in that. He also likes the different textures on these, and he rubs them like against his face. He's a huge sensory seeker, and everything, all the different textures that he finds, he rubs against his face. It's like,
yes. So does Jameson.
Yeah.
There's Ark Therapeutic. I do any of you guys use any of their chewies? They have really good, they have different ones. So it's on a scale. So for the extreme chewer, there's really tough ones so that they can't they're not biting chunks off of it or anything like that. And then there's ones that are just where they just want it in their mouth so that it's more of a flimsy material. But they have tons. They have different shapes. Like Beckett has one that's in the shape of a pizza, and it looks like it has pepperoni and stuff on it. And then he has one that's in the shape of a puzzle piece. And they have little lanyard strings on them that are breakaway, so that your child can wear them around their neck, and you don't have to worry about them running around and getting it caught on something, because it will just come apart. The string will just pop off so that they won't, choke on it or get it stuck anywhere. So
funny thing, my child's a little bit younger than your guys's, but he acts similar. The thing is that he is very obsessed with his pacifier, because he is sensory. He needs a lot of sensory input in his mouth. So, and it's not even the sucking part. He just chews on the pacifier. It's it's the input that he needs. So I found the P's and Q's, which are the chewies. They're actually called chewy P's and Q's, and they have, like Brie was saying, the different how
Like
they're
the
firmness,
strength or the texture.
yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And because he's so obsessed with it, instead of putting it, because he doesn't like anything around his neck, so instead of doing that, we're actually attach it to a pacifier clip and put it on his shirt and stuff, and he doesn't even notice that it's a problem, unlike putting it around his neck. Like, he's like, I don't want this on my neck, but putting it on his shirt, he's like, problem. So
cool. And then it just goes everywhere. Then we can just boop.
Yeah. Brie, you mentioned your son, so we'll just clear this up for the gifts that we had mentioned. Brie, you said your son is 5. Trista and Lindsay, how old is David and Whitman?
David is
7.
You're both 7?
Yep.
Okay. And mine's 3. So, but we had discussed this previously. They all pretty much enjoy the same kind of things. So we have a wide range here of the age, but they all pretty much like the same thing. The iPad we mentioned, the swing, the blocks, different things like that. So even though that they are possibly, go up to 7, they still like the same things as, my 3-year-olds. So just some good gift guides for everyone.
And I feel like it's important to note too that if you're someone that is buying a gift for a special needs family member or for a friend's child or whatever the case is, to not pay attention so much to the age that's on the tag or the box of the thing that you're purchasing. If the parent or the caregiver doesn't have, a list for you to kind of go off of, it's just important to not necessarily pay attention to those age groups because, again, our 7 and 5-year-olds, they really gravitate towards the things maybe that say 0 to 12 months on them or whatever the case is, because they crinkle or they can be chewed on or they can, things that really help them sensory wise. It doesn't necessarily have to be something that other kids their age are playing with, because it might not be something that they're interested in at all. That's just kind of how it goes sometimes, and that's fine. So
even I, as a parent of a child, was hung up on that for a very long time. It took me years to almost accept that the age on that label doesn't matter.
Right. It doesn't. So Whitman still plays with stuff from when he was like 3, and we just replace it when it's worn out. Like, it doesn't. I think the most age appropriate thing that he plays with right now is the Osmo. And even that, like, sometimes he wants to do the activities that are geared towards Vivi and less of and we've had a trampoline for like 5 years with him. Like, he just loves the sensory, like, jump. We need to replace it. Like, I mean, the Little Takes thing was amazing. It's lasted us 5 years, but
can you go a little bit more into the Osmo for people?
Yeah, I can go a little bit more. Osmo is just this like really cool, like, geared towards like teaching kids STEM, like science and technology and math. And Whitman loves it. We got it last year for Christmas to go with this tablet, because I was very much like, my kid is not going to play a tablet. Like, we will do activities we can do. And the tablet has saved us on numerous occasions. So I'm not like very pro tablet these days. But during COVID, when we couldn't do therapy, we couldn't go to school, we used Osmo a lot. They have a letter one. I don't know if your guys' occupational therapists do this, but it's writing without tears. And they're very much pro writing without tears. And so like, that's Osmo's like letter setup is what Whitman does at occupational therapy. So it's just nice to be able to like keep going and try and avoid as many regressions as humanly possible while we were.
So does it allow for like letter tracing? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, you can do letter tracing. It has a mirror, and you put the mirror on your camera, and so they're able to like, you're able to see it on the screen. And the more advanced ones, like, you can draw with Osmo, and he will like show you their picture. We do more of the like matching. Like, they have different puzzle pieces that you can make like squares, triangles, and it will like ask you to do those things. It also like will have you make, which is what he does in occupational therapy right now with working on writing, is they're almost like paint sticks, but they're mini paint sticks to fit like the Osmo like play mat for sensory, for like it sensing that you're writing on it. And he can make like A, B with it, and like Osmo like encourages him. So it's a lot of fun.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
It's
gonna have to write
definitely,
that one
it's an investment. So I think it's like $100, but you get like everything, and then you can buy more and more as like time goes on. So like
That's
if
awesome.
if somebody got into a different activity, or if somebody's kid wanted to do like more of a different activity, you can, I mean, every subject. Vivi does the princess coloring, where like she can like faux color while like looking at the screen. So it comes for we're gonna buy, I think, just because it's easier to get onto your iPad, we're gonna get it for the iPad. With the kids version of the Fire, you can take off the case to like do it, and it just seems like a whole lot of extra steps. So I think we're just gonna get like buckle down during the holiday season and get it for the iPad, since he actually plays with it, and we know he actually plays with it. So
and that's the thing. Like, I mean, zero in on the things that they're
exactly.
showing that they want to do.
Are you guys the crazy family that like if your kid acts like he is interested in one like little thing, you buy it all? You're like,
Oh yeah,
he gets this and this and this. Like,
Cameron was just telling me that. He's like, you're
project
crazy
last
about that.
year. Yeah. Whit was into science projects last year, and we like went all out buying science projects. And by the end of Christmas, he was like so out of it. Like we have a closet full in our like garage of science projects. That like what?
Oh, I was
Sorry.
just gonna say, to go back to what you were just saying about the iPads. You were saying that the Osmo and everything like that. If, by the way, if your child only does do iPads, get them a case, a kids-proof case that has the protective screen.
Oh, yeah,
on it.
you have that great one.
Yeah.
What kind of case do you guys use? We use one that has like the so it has like essentially a handle on it, but it will fold down so that they can like sit it at an angle when they're watching it, or stand it up.
We're gonna get that one that Annie has with the handle. Whitman's is an alien on the back. It's really cool, and it like the aliens.
That one too. Oh, is that cat ears?
Yes.
Oh my god, that's cute.
And then it flips open.
Oh, that's
I like
smart.
that.
Yeah.
David his tablet up against everything. Like if you're sitting on the, he'll come and prop it up against your leg, or he doesn't just hold it and play. Like he has to prop it up and like.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Ours, we got Whitman the more pursed one because he uses. We have a tablet for him to play on. He uses an AAC device, which is just an iPad with the AAC program on it, and then we're gonna let him use an iPad for fun as well. He likes to try and have fun on his AAC device. But yeah, I'm gonna look into the case that Annie has, because ours is more of like a purse type of thing for him. It has a strap, so he can wear it at school, but like just for home.
Yeah. And David's a lot like Lindsay, you were talking about the toys that have lasted forever. We've also had the trampoline forever, the swing, and the that David loves is the Gaiam peanut. So it's similar to a yoga ball, but it's in the shape of a peanut, so it's much more stable. So he sits and bounces on that. You can either like straddle it, or you can sit on it like front facing or back facing or whatever. Bounces on it. He'll also lay on his stomach and roll, and it kind of gives him the sensory input that way as well. But it's stable, so he doesn't, go from side to side like a typical yoga ball would. It's awesome. David uses that thing all day long.
Yeah, we have a horse one that Whitman bounces on through our whole house all day. We got it for Vivi because Vivi was really into it when she would get to go to therapy with Whit. That was like the toy that we would play with in the hallway while he was in therapy. And then Whitman like rides it. It's bright pink. So, like when you take the like cloth off, it's got like that peanut shape.
Yep.
So I definitely want to try the peanut because he's not very good with his core on a yoga ball. And we want to be able to work on his core, especially if, for heaven forbid, we shut down again and we can't be at therapy. Like, that's what Wits Christmas is this year, is like us like
That's all
scrambling
ours is.
Yep.
sensory stuff just in case there's a shutdown.
Yep.
Yeah, we have the peanut ball waiting from Santa. So
Aww.
yeah, we're excited about that.
And those go up in size, right? So like you can like change them, I think, by why is it go by weight, I think, or something like that, like for your child?
The one we have, we just inflate it more and more as he's growing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's an exercise one.
But my parents actually got one for their house now as well because it's just so universal and he just loves having that as an option just to burn off some energy because he goes nonstop, and being in quarantine, locked down and can't really go anywhere, he needs some way to kind of burn off that energy, or some of it. And I never fully burn off his energy, but we attempt to.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
a great option too. Like when your kid is someone like we've touched on a lot, where your kid doesn't like to sit still. So like, if sitting in a, they do that in occupational therapy with Beckett too, where sitting in certain types of seats don't really work well for him. It causes him to want to get up a lot more. So having something like that to allow him to sit and bounce on it while he's like working on a puzzle or working on color matching or whatever that we're working on at the moment, being able to bounce or rock or roll on it is really useful for him, to kind of dual purpose, like to do both at the same time.
Along those lines, David has a circle, it's called a wiggle seat, and he sits on that on a chair, and you just inflate it, and it gives him the kind of that buoyancy, and he can wiggle while he's sitting at the table. Again, for virtual therapies and things like that, it doesn't make him feel like he has to sit so still the whole time. And I feel like he gets more out of it when he's able to kind of move around a little bit without being completely distracted away from where he's at.
We used to use that at the dinner table, even the wiggle seats. That was how we kind of really got him from not sitting. Like Beckett used to like take a bite and then he'd go run down the hall and come back, take a bite. He would not sit still to eat a meal or a snack or whatever the case was. And then our occupational therapist was like, get him a wiggle seat so he can move around. So just like you were saying, and now we don't have to use it during dinner time because he'll sit in one spot and do it. So it's a good learning tool, I think, too. It's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
That is great.
Well, so at the end, I'm going to have a video of all of the different things that we had spoke about. And so hopefully you had a problem. We gave you a solution. You can find some good gifts. And we still have a little bit before Christmas. So hopefully that'll help some grandparents or parents who need to buy some gifts. Please remember to also go onto Facebook and search our blog names that I mentioned in the beginning and find us and like our page and follow us. We're also on Instagram, every single one of us, so you can find us on there. And don't forget to like, thumbs up our video here and subscribe and be notified every single time we upload. And if you hit the bell, it'll let you know. So thank you all for joining us this week, and I hope that you got something good out of it. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.